hello, ladies. What was that?
was
Chair
definitely the
squeak.
chair.
That's a huge. Yeah, sure. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the final Clone Wars retrospective for all the episodes that have come before. Because when this comes out, it's either the week of or maybe a few days. I don't know when this is dropping, but it's like literally less than a week when this one drops that the Clone Wars Season 7 premiere will be happening February 21st on Disney+. I am the Padme Pie lover, Travis now.
I am the Gungan Taylor Field.
Oh, no. So yeah, this is it. This is the last 7. This has been a long road. This has been... When did we start this show?
At least 2 years ago, I think.
I'm gonna find out when you give your overalls, but yeah, because this was a lot of episodes. I think it was 2 years ago because it wasn't this Comic-Con, it was last Comic-Con when they announced it. And yeah, I love doing TV retros. We did Spider-Man, so check that out. We did this one. I love doing them, but I am very happy over because it's a lot of crunch time. It's tough to watch a bunch of episodes in a row, so that's why for me, TV retros will be on hold after this for a little bit. We're going to finish Clone Wars Season 7, but then after that, it'll just be movies because that's why I head over to Patreon, because if one day we can do this as a living, we'll be TV show the retros out of everything. But as far as what we do now, they're tough. So I'm happy this road is over because it was always like, oh, I got like 6-7 episodes to watch before tomorrow, and I'm staying up till like 1 a.m. and stuff. So I'm happy. And these were some good ones to end on. There's a couple in there that were all right. But yeah, Taylor... Start off with the disappeared part 1. The peaceful world of Bardotta finds itself threatened by an ancient prophecy. Since now of all times, its spiritual leader has Since now of all times, its spiritual leaders have vanished. Barduto's people ask their representative in the Senate for help. And Jar Jar Binks and Dean manages to convince Jedi Master Mace Windu that this matter is of grave importance. What do you think about this episode?
You finally get some insight into Jar Jar's love life.
Yeah, finally. That's what I've been, we're at the last 2 episodes here. This technically is what? This is episode 117, and I have been waiting the whole time. Like, when are we going to get more on his love life,
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, today was the day.
Oh, yeah, interspecies, too. So, yeah, I of all the episodes, it's just the unlikely, pairing of Windu and Jar Jar. It's just, I never thought we would see that. But, this was, the crunch time for this season, and George Lucas was like, no, let's get that season written up and put together and get Mace Windu and Jar Jar, and it's just interesting.
Trying your George out there?
Yeah, testing the waters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like where the story arc kind of goes because you kind of get like a wrapped up conclusion, very abrupt wrapped up conclusion to another character's story arc, which is very I wasn't expecting her play in this role at all. So, yeah, it was an interesting episode and fun to see. But I just remember when this season was the last one, I was waiting to go through all the episodes. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to see some more Order 66 stuff. And I got Jar Jar and Mace. I was a little bit disappointed knowing that I wasn't going to get Clone Wars again at the time. But I'm happy now.
So I guess why it feels so long for us, because I was looking at when we started. Technically, this only released to public January 15th, 2019. So for them, it seems like a year. It's funny because Taylor, I don't know what he looks like, but we did the first few in your house. My hairstyle, other than it being, blonde, I don't know how it started to change colors so crazy. But other than that, it's like the same hairstyle going on right now.
This is the first
so it's really
episode?
weird. That's the first episode.
This is wild.
Yeah, but we recorded earlier than that. So there you go. It's been a year since. So that's funny that this is coming out I guess it's coming out in February for them, but it's funny when we're recording this is like a year when it started. So
well, then that's good. Time wise, we did a good coverage.
A year. It took us a whole year. So you know what? These episodes were not awful. I will say that I was on the Super Civil Servants Geeks podcast, and they were talking about there's no geeks in the title. I just add that because I guess they're a bunch of geeks. But I was giving Nathan shit because he's talking about all these Jar Jar episodes. I hadn't seen this one yet, and he talked about this being a good one. The rest of them he said were also good, so I said, oh no, those are trash. This was actually a good one. Still not the biggest Jar Jar fan, but he's in it quite a bit, but he's not too annoying, I think, because Mace Windu's there to anchor and be super serious. One, I like seeing Mace Windu because other than season 1, I think we got a finale of him leading some clone troopers. We didn't get as much as him in the show as I would have wanted, to be honest. When we started this, I thought we'd get a lot more Mace Windu episodes, and not really. So I liked seeing that. Yeah, the romance took me off guard because I was like, oh, whoa, this is not the way I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think there's anything with Jar Jar that would be able to woo any woman or anything like that. But
this woman wanted a piece of that.
yeah, the Jar Jar pie, wanted a big old slice. So yeah, it was a good setup. It was a good adventure episode, and it was strange because I had an idea where I think we were going, but I still like the idea of is it this episode, next episode they release or they get into what the actual behind the scene is, like the stealing of the power.
I thought it was
force.
next episode because I can't remember which one. Like Mother Talzin pops.
Because
off,
all
right?
you know is something shady's going on there, and people are going missing, and it's all mystical. We get, I think, introduced to like the cult people. We don't know what they're doing, but you see their masks. That was really fun. Plus, like this in episode 9 gave me. I have an episode 10 pitch, and it gave me every way to use it as far as stealing life force and whatnot. So I was like, okay, good. I got that. That helps me. It's already in canon. So yeah, this was a good episode. I liked it. There was definitely some wild turns, and yeah, Jar Jar and Mace kind of have some fun back and forth chemistry. Mace Windu doesn't hate him, but it's not like he's annoyed by him. He just kind of thinks he's like a tad of a nuisance. But he didn't talk back to him as much as I thought he would, so that was a change of pace. But yeah, that is my thoughts on the Disappeared Part 1. I'd give it a thumbs up.
I would give it a thumb up.
Just a thumb, wow. The Disappeared Part 2. In order to fulfill a dark prophecy, the mysterious cult kidnaps Julia, queen of the planet Bardota. Is that how I'm saying it right? Do you know? Bardota. Now Jedi Master Mace Windu, Senate Representative Jar Jar Binks, Senate Representative, need to give everything in order to stop the cult. If they fail, the cult might unleash a dreadful force. So this was more what I was talking about. You get to see what they're doing. They're stealing the force, like the life force from people, but it's almost like insinuating that it is like the force that is in people. And then you got the Mother Talzin reveal where she's behind it. I kind of have a feeling because anytime we've seen like witchcraft, like dealing with force of giving or taking, she's kind of around. You get to see her and Mace square off, so that was really good. And yeah, and then there's again some more fun back and forth banter with Mace and Jar Jar when he's like, oh, either something's wrong with me or you're starting to make sense. So that was a good line. But I just think that I think these were two like solid episodes. But that's where we talked about in the previous episode. You had the Trooper 5 story about the ships, and that had to do with it. You had the Clovis storyline, which didn't have too much, but you had Padme and Anakin kind of seeing the ripples in their relationship. We're getting closer to Revenge of the Sith, and they're under a lot of stress. So this just didn't feel. It felt like an earlier episode. Oh, it felt like an earlier episode. I'm in pain. You'll see why from a recording soon. It might even be out. But I think that it's just, they're fun adventure episodes, but nothing really of huge note other than, we got to see Mace and Jar Jar, has a girlfriend somewhere. But yeah, so they were enjoyable, kind of Indiana Jones, sometimes adventures of just like mysterious stuff going on. They're trying to find out, but nothing I absolutely loved other than Mace. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode more in the sense that it felt like an old school, probably like an older episode, but in the sense like it didn't feel like it was part of the Clone Wars. I liked it because it felt like a Jedi going on a peacekeeping mission and just he had someone with him, and it felt like what old school Jedi would be up to and what they would be doing, and I really appreciated that. And get to see kind of like, because as much as I love the clones and the war and stuff, it felt like a fresh bit of air to have no clones and no war. It's just like, oh, what's the political or this little dispute on this planet? Let's go figure it out with the locals, and that's all it was. And it was cool to see Mother Talzin pop off, and so I give this 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs. Wow, you love this arc. That's 2 thumbs. I feel like the way you're talking about it's not 2 thumbs worthy.
Well, I just like the change of pace, I guess.
Yeah.
And I like seeing Windu and Mother Talzin.
Why do you think it was placed here? Because like I said, the rest of these have lots of like alluding or talking about the next, obviously just what's coming next in Star Wars. You could talk about Revenge of the Sith. Why do you think this one's placed here?
I think it was to showcase the end of the Night Sisters. Because Talzin was the last one, right? And she was doing weird magic stuff around. So with her gone, it just writes off that story. So.
Fair enough. So here we go. We get into the really juicy ones here. So the lost one, this is a huge paragraph. The Jedi Master Sifo Dyas died under mysterious circumstances years ago, which they're just starting to look into now. Wow. When a secret Jedi mission accidentally finds his lightsaber, Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Master Yoda investigate Sifo Dyas' death again. To keep them from uncovering the Sith conspiracy, Darth Sidious orders Dooku to erase all traces that links up to the murder investigation. This successfully works, and Dooku escapes shortly after Obi-Wan and Anakin learn that he was the one who killed Sifo Dyas under the Sith alias Darth Tyrannus. So, what do you feel about this first episode? Obviously, this is a setup for a big arc that's going to come down here in the next little bit with Yoda. But what do you think about this?
So, them learning that his name is Darth Tyrannus is huge because...
Is it?
I would say, especially for Obi-Wan, and it's weird because I don't know how they would explain this properly, but Obi-Wan then can connect the dots that, Jango Fett said, I was recruited by a man called Tyrannus on one of the moons of Bogdan.
I just feel like I knew you were going to do that, and I've seen so many other canon people throw that out, but it's just like, wouldn't they just have assumed that just like we all did? When we, as the viewers, watch Attack Clones and then you see a bit of Revenge of the Sith, even Attack Clones, I feel like you just assume, Darth Tyrannus is Count Dooku. It's the same way. I know some people don't, but it's just like when that comic came out of Palpatine, like, confirming, then Disney took away and just said, that's a Vader vision. It's not confirming Palpatine's his dad, but still just everyone being like, oh my God, Palpatine's his dad. It's just like, these are things that are in, like, even though the prequels aren't well written, you got to read between the lines. And I feel like Darth Tyrannus and him being Darth Tyrannus was super obvious the entire
I'm not saying we didn't know. We knew he was Darth Tyrannus the whole time.
But I feel like they would have put two and two together too. Been
no, they wouldn't have. Because
he's a dark side user now.
He is, but they didn't know again like that he was the Sith Lord. Because even then, there were many times, even in the actual movies, where they accused him of things, or like I can't remember, like the assassination.
Many times in the movies.
Well, there was like the one where they were.
Many
what was
times.
it? Attack of the Clones. I think the assassination attempt on Padme, even though it was his idea to go through with it. Windu said, no, it wasn't Dooku. It's not in his character. He's a political idealist, not a murderer. So they viewed him as just a Jedi that left the council and pursued different political...
But then I feel like at the end of Attack of the Clones, you go, he is a murderer now, and he probably is Darth Tyrannus, don't you think? So I feel like this was confirming something that, like, again, the Jedi are so stupid. Like, this is like, it's obvious that he's Darth Tyrannus. So I don't think we need this whole thing of, like... So this is the thing, and this is what I didn't understand to... Darth Sidious orders Dooku to erase all traces that links up to the murder investigation. Why does it matter if they know Dooku did it? What does it affect now? Nothing.
Because originally they had believed that it was Sifo Dyas that went there and ordered the commission of the clone army, and that it was Sifo Dyas that wanted these chips to be put in so they could be obedient, and Sifo Dyas this and that. They didn't know that Dooku had any part to play in this.
Yeah, so that one I can understand. I do feel sometimes it falls a bit more in the category that they should have, even though they find a lightsaber, they should have maybe looked into this a bit more. Same thing as we talked about last episode with the clones that we had in the chips. But okay, I can buy that as far as they don't want to know that the clones were made by a evil source or evildoers. So that's fine. I just think that once Dooku shows up there, that automatically connects the dots, and you would be again. Like I said last episode, I'm not working with a single clone trooper until this is all figured out. But no, they don't do any of that. So that's why I feel like you're true about that's why they want to race. But him being there links him directly to it. And they find out that he did kill them, right? To kill Sifo Dyas? Or is that just the viewers we know?
I think that's just the viewers.
Yeah, so that's fine. But again, if he shows up there and they know it's Dooku, again, to me, they should be able to link point A to point B. So I don't understand why he's there, why they fight, because again, it just shows, he was probably him. Should we trust these clones? Yeah, sure, whatever.
Well, it could be, he could make up any reason, or they could believe, who knows why he's there. He could be there to deal with the Pikes or the...
But they didn't.
No.
It's funny the Jedi will make up reasons that why, the worst is not true, but they won't make up reasons for the other way around.
Yeah.
So, I'll give this episode a thumbs up, because I think I enjoyed the next three a lot more. This was a good setup, but like I said, I still had some problems of, I don't know if this is making sense, everything like this. It's kind of confirming stuff we already knew, kind of similar to like the clones and the chips. So nothing very new fleshed out, and nothing of note. So that'd be my one thumb.
Yeah, I'd probably give this a 1.5. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing more backstory in the Sifo Dyas and his lightsaber. I love the intro of how it starts with Plo Koon and
That was
just
cool.
in his clone turbo tanks just kind of going through the desert storm. So unique stuff.
Voices. Yoda is deeply unsettled when he hears the voice of deceased friend Qui-Gon Jinn in his head, because he knows that not even Jedi can speak to the living from beyond the grave. The Jedi Council is concerned about Yoda's behavior, that's an understatement, and wants to examine him further. But with the help of Anakin, Yoda escapes from the hospital and sets out to find the origin of the voice by himself. Again, so Yoda's hearing these voices. They'll put him in tanks. They'll experiment on him. They'll go every mile they can to find out what's wrong with Yoda, but then all these other things go on the clones. They don't.
It's
do
Yoda, you got.
I know, but it's just like when they choose to be. I guess you say, "Oh, it's Yoda," but it's also like, "Oh, these clones are pretty important to us."
Even Windu says, like, "You're the oldest and the wisest of us all," so we gotta get this.
Even though they talk about him like his crazy pants in this episode, pretty much. I feel like the lack of faith is.
They're ready
disturbing.
to throw him in jail.
Yeah, the lack of faith is disturbing with these Jedis. They do their little prayer circle. That doesn't help. This was a really good episode. I love this little arc. The lost one, the last episode we talked about. I don't think it's really needing this, but I loved this arc, and this was a really good episode. Obviously, I'm a big Qui-Gon Jinn fan. He's probably one of my favorite Jedi, so it was good. And obviously, seeing just kind of the origin, the first steps of the Force Ghost and whatnot. And like I said, it was Anakin's. Again, I think it's a double negative where, okay, so Yoda, for us, it makes sense that Yoda would go to Anakin because he is a rule breaker, but I just also think Yoda then should be, Anakin is a rule breaker. Maybe we should look into this and address this a bit more and try to help that out. No, they never do. They never do. They just let him keep breaking these rules. So that's why it's like a oxymoron. So for me, this is a thumb and a half.
Yeah, I like this episode, how it kind of comes full. Well, not full circle. You learn that in the later episodes, but it kind of connects the dots a little bit more on the other times where we've seen Qui-Gon Jinn in a full body manifestation, just in those strong force caved areas. And in this sense, like it's really cool to see, Qui-Gon reach out to Yoda and just what kind of like stems from that and comes from that.
Yeah.
And I love Yoda. He is like easily top 3 favorite Star Wars characters of all time.
Wow.
Like I got him, Thrawn, and then like I don't know who my
Clone Trooper 5.
yeah, Clovis. So it's or Borkus.
Was that Yoda and Thrawn in order?
No.
Okay.
Thrawn is my number 1.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I love Thrawn.
Wow.
Yoda probably my number 2. I don't know who my other number 3 is.
Wow.
Probably a
Thrawn
Sith
number
Lord.
1. Wow.
Yeah. So it's hard for me. Just. I mean, I'd probably give it like a thumb and a half. Like
you're looking at me like I'm supposed to help you out. It's your rating, dude.
But the episode overall, like I love Yoda. And I love the journey that he takes to becoming immortal. I think it's awesome, and it gets pretty crazy in the next couple episodes. So
this isn't like a big thing. I'm just throwing out this for conversation. Why do you think Qui-Gon chooses Yoda to talk to? Because Yoda and Qui-Gon didn't have like the best relationship. I think they both respected each other and they call each other friends here, so it's fine. It's in depth, but like they butted. Maybe they're still friends, but they butted heads quite a bit.
They did, and they had an interesting dynamic. But he trained Dooku. Yoda is the oldest and the wisest Jedi that is alive in the council, so it makes sense for him to reach out to Yoda, being probably one of the last 2 remaining of his species. So
I guess at this point, yeah, but there's going to be another.
No, Yaddle is out, so it's
Yaddle's
the child and Yoda.
Yeah.
So I just think it just makes sense for him to target Yoda.
Yeah. Was there anything else? Anybody? And do you think it's like a power levels thing? Like, does he have to? Because in Revenge of the Sith, he tells Obi-Wan he has training for him. He has to talk to Qui-Gon. So does that mean just Obi-Wan couldn't hear those voices then at all?
I think
if Qui-Gon wanted
he
to?
needed to do some training. Yeah, because Yoda, I think, was powerful enough to kind of pick up and sense, obviously what Qui-Gon was putting down. So
maybe Qui-Gon had no choice.
He
like looked at the Force chat and it's just Yoda. And he's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, Yoda. Let's see. Destiny. I always think of that girl in Pirates of the Caribbean when she would say destiny when I think of the word destiny. What's her name? She becomes the big evil one. She was
Tia Dalma. I just did a Pirates marathon not too long ago.
Guided by the Force, Yoda travels to the heart of the galaxy. There on the planet, he finds the origin of the Force. He must face difficult trials. Only upon passing them will the sages deem him worthy of learning the deepest mysteries of the Force. So this is some like really trippy stuff going on. I'd say this is like the weirdest stuff we've got since the Mortis stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
for me, this is the difference where the Mortis stuff was too weird and went too far and was too not Star Wars. This to me found the right balance of it was still like a space opera. It still had sci-fi fantasy elements, but it didn't go too much the other way, too much in like the fantasy. Like with Mortis, there's always these weird dragons and you had the sun and the he and the she. It felt like way too Lord of the Rings at times. This was to me just right, especially like when they reveal even then with these little like force, whatever the sages, when they had their looks and everything, that where I thought, is this really stars? But then there's that reveal of they are force ghosts, but they can't appear physically. So I like that they're like using that and manipulating some sheets and a mask to make it look like they're actually there. So that was all smart stuff. I liked all the things as far as first when he got this planet that was like the source of the force, where the origin of the force was like, okay, but it still worked for me. Even then is like, I guess is this technically a planet that's canon is like the source of the force then? Like,
well, it's canon now, I guess. Like, there's the
I
thing
still
with
think
the force is like the force. I wouldn't say it has like an origin point on one planet. It's manifested. It's powerful in more parts of the galaxy than others, but it's manifested in everywhere. You know. So.
Okay, yeah, I like that better than being like the origin of the force, which they didn't do, but it just kind of they could have like applied a few times here and there. That's what they kind of did right when Yoda lands, like this big stream and everything like that. But I liked everything in this episode. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, these two voice was really good, but the Destiny and Sacrifice are probably two of my favorite ones. So yeah, they did a good job, and yeah, there's just some really good visuals going on here. Yoda's on a good journey. I like seeing Yoda learn about stuff because in the movie stuff we never see him learn. So because he just knows everything. So yeah, I really like this episode.
So this one was. Now these two I get confused. Now Korriban was the next one,
yeah, that's
right?
the finale,
okay, yeah. So this one had Dark Yoda, right?
Yeah, it did have Dark Yoda because I get them confused too because there's so much dark side stuff in. Why is it on Morban? In quotations, Korriban.
It's the same planet, different names. Korriban is like its old school name, and then like people started calling it Morban because they didn't want to accept the planet was Korriban. They kind of like erase it from memory.
Yeah, I believe Evil Yoda was here because that was like one of the tests for him to move forward. So, and then they even said to show their hubris, which they didn't use in the right term, in my opinion.
So that's where I got hubris from.
Because like, I don't think hubris is like the dark version of yourself. I think everyone can have hubris, so I don't know. And like, because hubris to me isn't anything that would be like someone that's willing to kill people. So that was a little off. But yeah, that was a cool fight scene and cool like seeing a physical manifestation of a dark side Yoda.
Yoda. He was very evil too. He was like very sketchy, crawling around with his fangs and stuff.
Gollum, yeah.
Yeah, he was like Dark Ray and whatever in Rise of Skywalkers.
Don't remind me.
But yeah, no, very, very cool sequence, seeing him kind of overcome that and kind of like extinguish the darkness that is inside him. Like whatever, amount of it that you have, everyone's got it inside you. Even the like 900-year-old profound like light side force user, there's a little bit. So it was cool to see him kind of pass these trials and succeed and become closer with the force. And yeah, his journey overall was just really, really awesome. And the planet was just a beautiful location. And it just kind of paves the way to that Yoda we get to know in the original trilogy. So,
and he's learning a lot about life after death and all this stuff. This is where Qui-Gon, I think, was it last episode he said bye to him or no?
That says what?
He says bye to him. Like, was it last episode or this one?
Oh, yeah, because he was the floating lights kind of glowing.
Yeah, I think it's this one because he goes to Dagobah, which is cool. And then he has, is this the one too where he has the vision of, well, because he has multiple visions because Qui-Gon goes like, oh, have you seen the past? Or can you see the past? Or what do you see? And Qui-Gon says something like, where I am, there's no past, there's no future or anything and everything like that. And then he goes into Dagobah and he sees Revenge of the Sith take place. He sees Kit Fisto and all of them, like, Kit Fisto and all of them getting taken out by a hooded figure. He sees Mace Windu. Yeah, he doesn't see that part. He sees Mace Windu like force killing him, and then he literally sees Darth Sidious comes up. That's where he learns Darth Sidious' name, isn't it? There. I think so because the next episode he faces off with Darth Sidious in a way.
Yeah,
but when he sees him, he calls him Darth Sidious. So he gets the cloak reveal. Darth Sidious becomes this huge red smoke, like Jafar, like genie-looking monster. He has the lightsaber. So yeah, it's this one because he has another vision in the next episode But let's see. Oh, no, maybe I'm getting screwed up because in the next description it says, but he encounters a vision that heavily foreshadows things to come. So I thought that was in this one, but maybe I'm not. So
I can't remember.
maybe we'll get in the sacrifice because whatever we're talking about, then we're talking about them both. So this one would be, I'd give it a 2 thumbs up.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
Sacrifice of Moribond, slash Korriban, the homeworld of Sith. The time has come for Yoda to pass his final test. Only then will he learn the best kept secret of his order. But first he encounters a vision that heavily foreshadows what's to come, which involves Yoda facing a spirit of Darth Bane. During this time, Darth Sidious summons Count Dooku to his hideout, whereupon the duo plan to break Yoda, which figuratively stages an inevitable confrontation between the Sith Lords and Yoda alongside Skywalker and his squad. Yoda realizes that no matter who wins the Clone Wars, what the future has, there will one day be hope. So maybe I got them mixed up because that vision where he sees Revenge of the Sith, that's probably here because the vision he sees, maybe that is in Destiny that I liked, was a test for him, was when he goes to the Jedi Council and it's all like normal and it's like, it looks like the war is over, or even before
Dooku
the war.
was there and all friendly.
And Qui-Gon, that was really cool because I like that he meets Ahsoka first, and they're talking about how peaceful it is, everything like that. And then just in the background, you see Obi-Wan, and then you see Qui-Gon clearly. Also, we know it's Dooku, but still, like they're just there. They're not really addressing them yet. And then people slowly move out of the way, and they're there, and they're all like, "Oh, let's go over here, Master Yoda." And then he goes, "No, you're not real, and you were a traitor," and stuff like that. And Dooku goes to swing at him, and he just lets him hit it. So I really enjoyed all that stuff. And this stuff, like I said, the dark side vision, I don't know if I needed him seeing like literally everything that was going to happen in Revenge of the Sith. I think they could have been a bit more like a little more cagey about it, but it was just like literal scenes, like, okay, but it was still cool to see. I just think that it's just, in that sense, he kind of knows the future then. It's strange. I guess it's the same way as when Luke sees Vader and it's him, like you see the future, but you don't know how to take it. That to me is more like a vision, like, oh, what does this mean? Literally seeing this Dark Lord gun people down or kill them, it's just like, well, I know what that means. So I think they could have been a bit more cagey with it, but I was a big fan of this episode. I'll let you go before I bring up some more stuff. So,
yeah, no, it just I love the what if confrontation in this sense. Like, you know, if they were to just walk in on Sheev just in his room and he brought the clones with them and they had this fight.
Yeah, it was weird because why is Anakin there out of all people?
Chosen one.
I know, I guess. It's just like for Yoda to have that vision Anakin there, it's like, all right, I guess so.
Yeah. Other than that, like I really enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed seeing Darth Bane. I think that was a huge, just unexpected thing just for them to throw into this episode and him just kind of confronting the spirit of Darth Bane. Which again, this solidified and canonized him.
Yeah,
in the story. So
role too.
Yeah,
I have always seen Darth Bane. I think I've seen it here and there, but is he always wearing that armor all the time?
No, older versions, like at least in like comic books and other iterations, like he's been like jacked purple lightsaber, bald head kind of thing. I'll see if I can get a picture
purple
of him.
Lightsaber. I thought Revan had the purple lightsaber.
You thought who?
Revan was purple.
Revan had purple as well. Let me see.
It's not good mace.
But I really, really enjoyed seeing this samurai-like version of Darth Bane. He just looks so bloody cool.
I didn't like the look, to be honest. I wish we could have saw him at least with the helmet off too, but he just looked too... I don't want to say big because he's a big character, but it just didn't look... It didn't feel, I'll say that class term, it didn't feel like Star Wars to me. It did feel like you're talking about like very samurai, very Japanish. It just was like, I wish it had a different look to it because he just looked like...
That's an older version of Darth Bane.
Yeah, I like that better.
Full like bald John Cena.
Yeah, even if that's what the Darth Bane I've always seen, and he's like almost kind of yellowish and he has face markings and stuff like that. Or just search Darth Bane video users. Taylor's trying to show you. But yeah, so I didn't actually love the armor look. I love that we got to see it. It's voiced by Mark Hamill, correct?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So that was fun. Obviously, I'm a big Revan guy. But yeah, I liked him seeing all the different Sith, talking to them. And I did like the what if scenario. That's one where I liked with the Revenge of the Sith. What I really liked was when they're fighting everybody and he looks back at Anakin. He gets Dooku's lightsaber and they mirror the Revenge of the Sith of him cutting his head off. See, that I liked because that was Yoda's in the middle of battle and it's so quickly where it's just like he can't really address that. I do love that he does that and Yoda's just kind of like, oh, and he just goes on. I know he's after Dark Lord, but it's just like he you know.
What did he say? He's like Skywalker, don't or whatever, and he just did it flawlessly.
Like, oh, whatever, I don't care. This guy's a lost cause. But and then yeah, I liked this because it wasn't a face down of him and Sidious, but it kind of was, right? Like through spiritually, it was.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely. It it wasn't like a literal sense in this. Well, I mean, it was a literal battle over Yoda's mentality because Sidious and Dooku, they were using Sith alchemy for this part, and they were trying to really break Yoda. And if it worked, it would have been devastating. But when the fact that it didn't work, it just really upset Palpatine, and they lured him because then you got to see Cypher Diaz and all that. So
yeah, because the plan was it was either like the pick to like strike me down or save your Jedi Knight friend, right? And he
was like, free me and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Like,
oh, see, that's not what I thought. I thought the test was the Anakin one, where Anakin's on the platform, Sidious destroys it, and it's like, you can either come after me and get me, or you got to save him.
Well,
and
he put that there, but the original test that Palpatine had was you can Cypher Diaz was hanging there, and he's like, you can free me and I'll tell you what you need to know.
I didn't like that because he says, oh, we're gonna give him a face he's seen before and he could trust, but it's been many years. I didn't.
Should have went with Qui-Gon.
Well,
not Cypher Diaz.
No, it'd be Shmi. But no, with Cypher Diaz, at first it was just like, oh, Master Yoda, like I've been here for so long. But then after he was like, he got really like evil, like Pet Cemetery, just like, let me go and I'll tell you everything I know. It's just like, well, you're not going to fool him with this stupid mirage. Like, Cypher Diaz is acting really sketchy and evil, and I guess you could say, oh, because he's been gone for years, but I think I like the test being more the Anakin thing, because Cypher Diaz thing, I think, was the weakest part. I was really excited to see that, but they didn't make him realistic enough where I'm believing Yoda's going to actually take him down and be like, oh, yeah, this is the real Cypher Diaz in this acid trip. It was too... which was weird because lots of other stuff in these episodes were subtle. That was not subtle. It was like, oh, Cypher Diaz is being controlled by evil, and then nothing happens there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Other things that happened, like I enjoyed the fight scene. I enjoyed seeing Yoda like falling and like grab onto like the cloak to like, or grab on the Sidious to see who it is, and then it was just a cloak, like nothing was there, and it's like, oh, fooled me again, you know. I'll get you gadget next time, kind of thing. And it was just it was nice to see Yoda kind of like bounce back and like overcome all these hurdles, I guess. So
yeah, it just shows why he's such a great Jedi, and now he can start learning how to like become one with the Force after and everything like that. And I did like the setup of Dagobah too; that was fun. So yeah, there's lots of fun like spiritual stuff. Even though I didn't love the Cypher Diaz stuff, I would give this probably a 2 thumbs up. And then obviously, I don't know if there's much to talk about there, but at the end when he just does do the like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter if we win or not. There's always going to be like a battle, but then always like they're going to be hope and stuff like that. So I like that. If I was fighting with him, I'd be like, oh man, is Yoda just kind of quitting on us right now?
Oh, he gave up.
He kind of did, yeah. But like he's still on Kashyyyk, right? So why did he still participate? You know.
Well, I guess he's just kind of, it's you can be in a relationship, but you don't always want to do relationship duties, but you're doing it because, you can't drop the relationship. He wants to be a Jedi, and you can't just drop it.
I guess Ahsoka did.
Ahsoka didn't believe in the Jedi anymore, but Yoda did.
Were they trying to insinuate when he, at one point in that vision, he goes to like Jedi Council, Jedi Temple, and he sees like all these dead Padawans, and then he sees Ahsoka there. Were they trying to insinuate Revenge of the Sith?
I think so.
So then why is Ahsoka there?
Just to kind of like connect her into this universe a bit more.
I guess, but that's where all those visions were wrong. They showed Ahsoka dying there, but all the visions were right. But that one doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's kind of like Yoda saying "impossible to tell the future is" kind of thing. So like the future is always changing, I guess, in that sense. Changing, so yeah.
Yeah. So, and the movies don't care about Ahsoka. You can say whatever they put.
Well, I think they. Oh yeah, she talked in Rise of Skywalker. That's huge.
You're not going to see her in any live action movies. So
no, but you might see her in Mandalorian season 2. There's a lot of rumors popping off. There's
been rumors about Ahsoka since the beginning of time.
Oh yeah, I'll take them.
And they're not true. They're not true at all. So
I give this 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, this is 2 thumbs up for me. We did it, Taylor. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. Insane in the membrane. That's 6 seasons of the Clone Wars. Unbelievable. I still can't believe that I managed to talk you into watching this show because
121. Well, I always wanted to, and there's definitely episodes I will watch again in the future. I did like the show. Obviously, I'll wait till we do like a full-on rankings episode when season 7's done, but I did like the show. I did enjoy it. There's a lot of filler, and especially those earlier seasons, there's a lot of bad stuff, too much Jar Jar.
Soundtracks.
And soundtracks. And I think it's so good. She does get better throughout, but there's a few seasons where she's just not even annoying. You just don't really care that much about her. There's times where she's annoying, but Yeah, I always wanted to do it, and I'd always like would start it, and then I'd stop and start and stop. So this was like a good reason to do homework. Sometimes it honestly did feel like homework viewers. I think you can tell some episodes like, oh no. But I'm excited for these new ones because they'll be watching one a week. And obviously, sometimes when you hear us when we do like one episode and we break it down really quickly, that's because we have like 5 or 6 to talk about. When we have just the one episode, like myself, I'll be watching it probably twice before cast, so we can kind of break down everything twofold and do really in-depth notes. But yeah, it's all done finally. I'm very happy. It's a weight off shoulder. Plus, I was always worried we're not going to finish or being quite a crunch. We wait till very close to the end, but it's not a crunch. When we record this, there's still 3 weeks before, so I didn't like not having a date on the show.
Yeah, we needed that release date to figure out how we're going to plan our recording. So.
Yeah, but it's done.
Question for you now. So now that you've finished the Clone Wars and you've had so much experience with all these different characters, so now how do you feel in the sense? Because now you are an Asajj Ventress fan. You know, you like Ahsoka now. So where do you stand in Star Wars? Like, who do you really like as characters, and who do you hate as characters? And,
overall,
yeah, because now you've had the 6 seasons of Clone Wars to manifest and like all these different.
I think
things.
we'll save that for a rankings episode because I'd have to literally rank because you name
We don't have to rank. Like, just give me like a couple characters you love and a couple you hate now.
In the Clone Wars?
Well, in Star Wars in general, because the Clone Wars have fleshed out their great backstories.
I don't think there was much fleshing out of the characters I already liked. Anakin's fine. People go on so much about the show saves him. I don't think that's the case. I think it makes him a bit better, but I think there's some problems. Obi-Wan's still great. I think obviously Darth Maul fleshes out a lot. I already loved him, but he's a better character for that. Asajj, Ahsoka, you got my man Mondo in there, right? Is it Mondo or Hondo? Hondo. Yeah, there's probably some, like, even a few episodes we talk about Embo very quickly. He was in an episode. I like stuff like that. But I don't think there's anybody that what's her name? That stupid Woody Harrelson killed in Solo. The bounty hunter, the female bounty hunter that trains Django.
Aurra Sing.
Aurra Sing, yeah, bastard. So, yeah, I really liked her. But, yeah, I don't think there's anyone I hate other than, like, yeah, Jar Jar's still kind of the same. I hate, like, that Mr. Freeze guy from the Clone Wars episode.
The scientist guy, the doctor.
A lot of the villains, I think, are kind of the lame ones. Even the Trench... I don't
Admiral
hate
Trent.
him, but like I'm not a big fan. Like, oh, it's a spider. It's like, okay. So I don't think there's anyone I hate. I think the Mr. Freeze guy I really do. What was his name again?
I can't remember.
Yeah, he's the doctor, and he's dealing with freezing.
The
I
Mario
hate
voice.
the Jedi Council even more because they're idiots. But yeah, those would be the characters. And you know what? I like them. I always say, oh, canon doesn't matter. I want it to matter one day. I just say, as of right now, this era has been. It doesn't matter. So I hope I see some of these characters down the line in live action TV shows or movies. So. I was going to ask you, this is the last thing I'll ask you, is Season 7, I'm not sure if it's going this route. It says it's for 12 new episodes. That's going to be 12 weeks. The first episode is called The Bad Batch. What do you think that's about?
The Bad Batch is the Clone Force 99.
Yeah.
So
I knew it was going to be a fucking clone episode.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, I read a tiny little bit into certain details, but I've avoided, like, reading all the titles. I knew the Bad Batch one, though, and so that's, like, what I'm assuming is the Clone Force 99. That's like the genetically altered kind of like clones that were like they pieced them together and threw them in like super clones.
I will say I don't love the clones, but I understand yours and others' appreciation for them. Like an episode like Rookies, one of my favorite episodes of all time. We rank them. It's probably in the top 10. So I do appreciate them a bit more, but I don't love them the way you do. But I understand why you do love them. And I'm wondering, episode 2 is called A Distant Echo. I'm wondering if that's the first Ahsoka episode.
Probably. It probably
sounds
makes
something,
sense.
yeah.
So who is your favorite clone? Do you have one? We've got Cut Up, Hard Case, Heavy,
I don't
Tough,
have a favorite. I couldn't tell you anything
Kicks,
about them differently.
Dogma.
I think it's just because I've watched it once, and honestly, the clone episodes, other than the action, I think they're all just so much as a unit, and they're so similar. But yeah, I unfortunately for you, I don't have a favorite. I really don't. You know, it's just you could say maybe Commander Cody, but that's just like the generic. Just like he's the one I know the most of, and even then I can't tell you much of his personality. Even though in the first episode I know Yoda does it like you're like this and you're like this. That's all whoosh gone now. I'm not into the clones. You know why? Because they end up just being stormtroopers somewhere. Most of them. So maybe in Rebels I'll care more about them, and I'm watching that right now. So. Taylor, where can they find us for the Season 7 comeback of Clone Wars?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can find us online with your internet connection in the search bar. Make sure you tune in to our social media online because we're going to have the canon Clone Wars, Rebels, and maybe some Resistance
Do you have a
characters.
start date for that yet?
No, I don't know. It's whenever I make the poll layout, just pump it out.
You start February 1st.
February 1st?
Yeah.
What day is it today? That gives me how many days? 3 days.
3 days.
3 fucking days.
The only reason I say you don't have to, but the only reason I say it is just because the fans have been asking. You know, they've been where are the polls.
They
so
have been asking.
they want it.
They do. They're salivating.
So sooner
for it.
rather than later.
Yeah, don't worry, you fans. You're gonna get it before Valentine's Day. The polls are gonna drop, and you're gonna get the animated Star Wars canon poll. So
animated. He didn't want to put Baby Yoda in there because Baby Yoda would destroy.
Baby Yoda
everyone.
won't be in there. That'll be like extended, like another Star Wars poll after the fact. So you get Rise of Skywalker and Mandalorian, and they're probably Mandalorian season 2 by that time.
Solo.
But
I don't think we ever did Solo.
no, we didn't do Solo.
No.
But in this poll though, you'll get characters like Darth Bane, obviously in there, and you'll get Thrawn.
Not Revan. He screwed me over on Revan.
Yeah, no Revan, but you'll get like the Mortis
He
kids.
said we were gonna do canon, bastard. But yeah.
Well, we need Ezra will be in there. Kane will be in there. We just need that New Republic remake reimagining, and then you'll get your Revan in there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Well, Taylor, this has been a journey. It's not over yet because we
yeah.
still got 12 more weeks, but at least this one we did it, sir.
Oh yeah. So these episodes, are we doing them episode by episode? Or
Yeah, we're gonna do episode by episode.
Oh, okay, there you go.
We're gonna do that just to get the breakdown. So yeah, that'll either drop because my work schedule is a bit different. That will either drop the day of, or it'll drop the next day. We'll do a full spoiler, so it gives you time to watch it. So yeah, go down links below. Got Apple, Spreaker, those are the big ones. Stitcher, Google, Spotify, all around. Video feeds down there on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, rate, review wherever you listen or watch this. That would help us out a lot. Give us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. That helps us out even more. That helps us get to new people. That helps us get more people, especially going to Clone Wars. It'd be great to get some more people. If you like these episodes, let us know on Twitter or Facebook or even YouTube. Comment down below. And then yeah, Patreon. I think I pimped at the beginning, but exclusive stuff there, early stuff, ad-free episodes. So you want to check that out. The $1 tier, $5 tier, whatever tier you want. There's lots of good stuff. And yeah, just subscribe. Until next time, when we'll be talking about some Clone Wars that Taylor has not seen, which is crazy. May the Force be with you.
Always.